goodness. Knowing about yourself. When you know about yourself, you will know what is the purpose of your life. What exactly the purpose of your life is. Purpose of your life. in this context, purpose of your life. When you think about it, purpose of your life is happiness. And happiness is the virtue. Hence, in order to live a purposeful life, knowledge is important. That is what Plato has said. Now, how knowledge is linked to truth. Knowledge is searching for truth. I said this. Search for truth is knowledge. For this itself, I said dialectical method. Right, dialectical method. And I said that how truth will be always question, synthesis. There will be a thesis statement, and this is antithesis statement, and then that antithesis has become thesis, and then you will be synthesizing the truth. Just like filtration of the truth, you will be doing it. Now, in that idea, you will be knowing the truth until the reality is revealed. Reality is revealed. Now, one thing that I wanted to say is knowledge is linked to reality. Knowledge is linked to reality. Or truth. The search for knowledge, the search for truth is known as knowledge, right? So, this is what we do here. Theory of knowledge, in English, you call it as theory of knowledge, is known as epistemology. Epistemology is theory of knowledge. Now, theory of reality. What do you mean by reality? Ontology. Ontology is theory of reality. Now, it is always said that our ontology, our reality will determine our epistemology. Our ontology will determine our epistemology. The more you are with reality, the more you are with facts, the more you are with truth, your knowledge will be directly proportional with these things. Right? And these are directly proportional. That is what they say. Now, what is reality as per Plato? Reality is the concept of ideas, or the theory of ideas is reality as per Plato. No. In this question, what really exists? What is the truth? What really exists? What really exists? Is it matter or is it ideal? People who say that it is matter which exists is known as materialist. People who say that it is ideals which are existing is known as idealist. Who give importance to ideas is known as idealist. Who says material is important, they are known as materialist. Now, what is Plato then? Is it matter or is it ideas? Now, Plato says reality is a shadow of idea. This is the statement said by Plato. whatever the reality that you see, this is a shadow of ideas. For example, look at this Plato theory of ideas. Plato's, in order to understand this, you have to understand the analogy of caves. Now, when some people are caught hold and when they are kept in the so-called a cave, when they were kept in cave. Now, what these people will think is by looking at the shadows that are framed on the screen, on the cave wall. See, when you arrest some people and when you have kept them in a cave, and on the cave walls, whatever the shadows that are being reflected, they will look at the shadows and they will form an opinion. They form an opinion. Say, for example, if there is some fire which is going on, and that will be reflected here on the shadow, and they think that this is sun, but this is not actually the sun. This is fire. Now, they might be thinking, look at this. By looking at this, by looking at the things that is shown here, vessel, vessel, horse, ring, bird. Now, this is what they are reflecting, and what they are finding is this one. They are framing the opinion thinking that this is the horse, this is the ring, this is the bird, right? So they think what we do is, this is not US, this is us, okay? What we think is we come to frame to the ideas, or we frame our ideas depending upon not really seeing what exactly is going on, but we see our shadows, we see the shadow of objects, and then we come to think that these shadows are reality, but this is not reality. The reality is something which is located on the higher path. You have to go, you have to come to the world, and then you have to search what exactly. When you come to here, then you will understand what exactly is your reality. Here you will see that, okay, this is sun, not this. This is horse, but this is an image of horse. This is a tree, right? So, like this, you will see the higher forms of reality, and this is how you come towards truth. Otherwise, you'll be just in an illusion thinking that whatever I am seeing is a reality. This is what the concept of Plato is. Reality is the reflection of ideas. Reality is the reflection of ideas. When I say reality is the reflection of ideas, reality is the shadow of ideas, we think whatever we see is reality. But reality is nothing but the ideas that you people are framing here. And this reality you think as this one, as a result, you'll be in a illusion. Hence, what Plato says is, in order to understand reality, the first thing that you have to understand is we have to understand the ideas. You have to understand the ideas. Unless and until you move from the cave, you move to the outside world, you cannot understand what exactly is the reality. That is what Plato has said. Right. This is his theory. Let me explain you this theory, what he is saying. Plato said, reality is the shadow of ideas. Now, what does this mean? Whatever the world that you are seeing, you see it as a materialistic world. Materialistic world. And they think that reality is this material. But this is not reality, but illusion of reality. This is illusion of reality. By looking at the material world, by seeing the objects, you are seeing that this is reality, but this is an illusion. You are in a illusion phase. Right? By looking at the image itself, you are seeing it horse, but the original horse is this. Right? So this is an illusion. By looking at the fire, right? By looking at the reflection of the fire, you say that it is sun. So this is illusion. Now, in India also we have this materialistic world. People call it as Maya. In Indian context, Plato said this is illusion. Indians call this as Maya, right? So in India, material world is called as Maya. As a result, even in our Indian saints said that don't fall into the trap of Maya, but fall into the trap of the truth. Search for the truth. And this is how even our philosopher, ancient thinkers or ancient scholars of India, ancient saints of India said that this life is a Maya, know the reality. So what is this reality? Is the shadow of ideas. The reality of the shadow of ideas. Now, reality means I said it is the ultimate reality, is idea. Knowing the ultimate truth, knowing the ultimate truth is, as per Plato, this is reality, not this. So he says us, idea is ultimate reality. Not just what our senses say is correct, but we have to develop beyond our senses and we have to see what exactly is the ultimate truth or ultimate reality. Right? This is what he was telling about the so called reality of ideas. Continue this, let me continue. World is full of two people. One is God, that is idea, and the other one is matter. Whatever we see is matter can be visible, sensible, our senses can see. But ideas are not tangible, you cannot see them. They will be felt in the form of beliefs and they can be felt through reason. Whatever you see, if you are believing that is a reality, if you think that that is a reality, that is not reality, but this is material world. This is materialistic. Now, on the other side, idea, which is not tangible, is an absolute thing. You have to understand exactly. In order to understand reflection, you have to understand the first one, that is called the source itself. Right. Now he says that, Plato also says that God is an idea. God reflects perfection. So if you look at the theory of ideas that is propounded by Plato, Plato has these points to say. Plato has given theory of idea. According to Plato, idea is real. In order to distinguish between idea and matter, he has said his distinction between idea and matter. What he said is, contrary to the conventional wisdom of thinking, contrary to the conventional wisdom of thinking, idea is a reflection of matter. Idea is a reflection of matter. So what many people think is, idea is a reflection of matter. They will see the matter and they will think that okay, idea is a reflection of matter. Say for example, after seeing the horse, after seeing the horse, you'll be knowing the horse and you will think that ideas will come only after seeing the matter. Right? Plato said that actually this is a wrong concept. This is not ideas which is a reflection of matter, but matter is reflection of ideas. So what do that mean? Many people will think that Many people will think that reality is because of this. Whatever they feel, whatever they see. Why they say it horse? Because there is one matter called horse here, and that is the reason why they think that ideas come from matter. But what this man is saying that matter, it is not matter which is giving ideas, but it is idea which is giving matter, right? So by looking at this, you are saying it has horse, but why you are naming it horse? Because you have seen this really how it functions, how it is working, right? Based on that logic, you say this theory as theory of ideas. Now let us take example. What he is saying exactly is many people think that idea is a reflection of matter. Ideas comes from matter. But no. Plato says matter is a reflection of idea. For example, let us consider the first idea of computer. It is when we don't know computer, it is the idea which has come first. And then people have invented a matter, a material called computer. So material comes later, unlike people will think that material is the first thing which will be there and then idea will come. No, Plato said this conception is wrong. It is idea which has to be present first and then materials are nothing but reflection of ideas. Now, matter occupies. What is matter? Matter is something which has space and occupies some space, which has weight and occupies some space. Now, matter is or material is belonging to the world of time and space, which means it belongs to the realistic world. We can see it. Matter we can see. What is matter? Matter is anything that has space and occupies, that has weight and occupies some space is called matter. Hence, it is related to a space. Computer is related to a time and space. But idea that doesn't belong to the so-called space and time, but it belongs to the world of permanence. World of permanence means the world will be permanently present in this. But this is matter of space and time. With space and time, this will be changing, but this concept of idea will remain forever. That is what Plato is saying. Computers might be changing. From first generation computers, you entered into second generation to third generation computers. The size of computers or the size of that material called computers has changed with space and time over a period of time. But when you look at the idea of computers idea, whether it is first generation, second generation, or third generation, the idea of computers is same. We should have one machine to process and how to process it. This is idea. Hence, irrespective of time and space, what they say is this is permanence, and that is the reason you have to understand. For example, everything is changing in this world. Everything changes in this world. This is material. This is a materialistic life. Everything changes in the world. For example, at one person, at one stage in our life, people will be very beautiful. Persons will be beautiful. But over a period of time, beauty perishes. Right? As we become old, as we become aged, beauty perishes. Hence, again, beauty is a materialistic thing. Right? Whereas the concept of human soul is a permanent thing. Human soul will remain permanently, but beauty is temporary. So this is even said by our ancient scholars, not only Plato, right? So, person appears beautiful, may not be beautiful after some time. As everything changes in the world, we cannot have permanent knowledge about the things of this world. Hence, we have permanent knowledge only about the world of ideas. So, permanent knowledge is not belonging to the world, but it is belonging to the so-called world of ideas. What is permanent? The permanent thing is world of ideas, not the world of materials. Right? This is what he say, and he says that the biggest challenge is not understanding this material world of materials because this is changing. No need to understand this. But if you want to gain true knowledge, understand what exactly is permanent on this world. What exactly is permanent on this world. So understand the beauty of humans not by looking at the color of their skin, but the content of their character. That is what they say. Right? Look, this is permanent. Content of character, not the beauty. So, as long as you give importance to this, you are not having wisdom. This is what he says. You are not having knowledge. This is what he says. You should have this. So, ideas do not change as per Plato. The real ideas don't change over space and time. Idea reflects perfection. Ideas reflect perfection, and ideas are universal in nature, whereas physical objects are not universal. Right? Physical objects are not universal. Now, ideas are perfection, ideas are universal, ideas are beyond the sense of visual perception or beyond senses perception. Senses cannot perceive you. You have to think beyond your knowledge to understand this. Hence, it cannot be. What do you mean by senses? Like sensory organs, like nose, eyes, ears, tongue, and skin. They cannot reflect these ideas. These things can reflect the reality. Oh, sorry, these things can understand the material world. Right? Our mother has prepared the breakfast called upma, and you will taste it, and you will say that uppu takko indi అనేసి we will say that, right? But this is not the reality. The work that she has done, the love she has done, kept in preparing this upma, the selflessness that she has done in preparing that upma. Once you understand this, you will never criticize that upma. You will eat with more grace. This is called the thing. What does this mean? Idea is something. Idea is something which is beyond your sensual perception. Your senses cannot realize it. If you are just going by the taste of your tongue, you cannot find what is the greatness of the mother in preparing this. So, idea requires, in order to understand idea, it requires some higher knowledge which cannot be visualized by senses, and that can be found out only through one thing, that is called by reason. By reason. Only by reason you can understand the idea. So, what the concept here is, ideas cannot be understood by sensory organs, by but therefore they have to be understood by reason. You have to think beyond in order to understand, beyond this concept in order to understand. Hence, idea is something called rational. Idea is something called rational. So, what they say is, Plato says, only by applying rationality you can understand. Only by understanding rationality you can understand the concept of ideas. Next, ideas is perfect to form. As per Plato, ideas are perfect to form, whereas matter is imperfect. because matter is imperfect. The reason is none of the Wally objects, no Wally object, whatever the object that you are seeing, none of the Wally objects represents true idea, right? None of the Wally objects reflects a true idea. Hence, they say that matter is imperfect, knowledge should be perfect, or ideas are perfect. Hence, your knowledge has to be perfect. If I want your knowledge to be perfect, understand the perfect things which will be there forever. Thus, we can have true knowledge. You can have true knowledge only when you understand something which is permanent, which is forever, and that is ideas. As long as ideas you don't understand, you do not have true knowledge. As long as you do not have true knowledge, you cannot have the so-called, you will not be a wise person. That is what Plato says. So what he says is, we cannot have true knowledge about worldly objects unless and until you apply rationality. So idea has a characteristics of universalism. The idea has a characteristic of universalism. It is beyond your space, it is beyond your time. It is universal in its application, which means it will be present infinitely, irrespective of the space, irrespective of the time. No. So, according to Plato, Plato says that ideas are infinite. Ideas are infinite. Ideas are a good teacher for a friend, good teacher, they are a good mother, they are a good friend. So according to Plato, this is that ideas are a good teacher. Rationality is a good teacher. Rationality is like a mother. Rationality is like a father, and rationality is like a friend. So ideas are very very important. Until and unless you understand ideas, you cannot become a wise man. No. Next one. So even our people also said, people said the theory of soul. That is what I am saying. In Indian context, whatever idea Plato has said, that can be reflected in the form of theory of soul. Soul is the Indian concept. Idea is Western concept. Now what people say is the concept of idea, the concept of idea was brought to the West by a man called Pythagoras. You might be knowing Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem. Right. Pythagoras is a mathematician. Mathematician. Now, what people believe is, before Plato, it is Pythagoras who has brought this concept of ideas to the West. Now, being a mathematician, Pythagoras has traveled inside India throughout its length and breadth. So, what they say is, Pythagoras has learnt this concept of theory of soul from India, and he has taken back to his Greek city and he has spread it in the Greek, and they have come out with the concept of idea by replacing it with soul. So what many scholars also think that is the theory of soul. It is the Indians who has thought the first time what exactly is the reality and what exactly is the shadows, what exactly is everlasting and what is temporary, what is universal, what is confined to space and time. So this is the Indians. So many scholars do say that Pythagoras has taken this thing to his Western world, and there they have understood, or there they have applied the Indian concept. Hence, it is Indians who has also got the idea of the soul and we have given this to the rest of the world in the form of ideas or justice. Now, what they say is, he compared, Plato compares his theory of ideas with that of a human soul, with that of a human soul. In order to understand his theory of idea, in order to understand theory of idea of Plato and theory of justice of Plato, what you have to understand is you have to understand his theory of soul. So humans are made up of two things, physical part and spiritual part. That is, physical means the physical body, spiritual part is the soul. శరీరాన్ని ఫిజికల్, ఆత్మని spiritual అనేసి అంటాం. What Plato says is this body is a matter. Soul is the idea. Whenever I say this is matter, this is decaying. It gets decayed. Idea is permanent. So our body is temporary, but our soul is permanent. Body is just a part, or it is one part, whereas soul is the whole. So just like a part will be a subcomponent of the whole, we have to understand this whole before understanding the body. So right, what they say is, in order to understand this is what exactly the Indians have said. Right, Indians also said the same thing. So according to Plato also, there are two dimensions of human personality. One is physical, one is spiritual. Physical belongs to the physical world. Physical world means the materialistic world. We see the physical body by our senses. Since this world is world of time and space, physical body changes with time and space, right? Hence the physical is not eternal or not permanent. Whereas when you look at the spiritual element of our body, it is represented by the soul. Soul does not belong to this world of time and space, but soul is universal, right? Hence it is beyond time and space. As a result, soul is the eternal element, right? When our body dies, soul does not die. Soul travels